Right now at 10, a shoving match on the House floor. Lawmakers reach their breaking point on the last day of the legislative session. Today's turmoil at the Capitol, plus the possibility of a special session. Uber and Lyft on the road again in Austin. Tonight, KVUE puts them to the test to find out just how easy it is to become a driver. And this Memorial Day, a group of veterans return home after a special honor flight. The Night Beat starts now. The 85th legislative session came to an end today, but all of the tension that's loomed over the Capitol boiled over. A scuffle, yelling, and threats on the House floor. KVUE political reporter Ashley Godot is at the Capitol. Ashley?
Quita, lawmakers who have been serving for a while now say this session was different. There were a lot of contentious issues personal to a lot of people. And today, one comment was the tipping point. Disorderly conduct in the Texas House. Representatives yelling and pushing each other. The cause?
He walked back and told us, I called ICE.
He is Representative Matt Rinaldi, referring to people in the gallery protesting SB 4, the bill banning so-called sanctuary cities.
And we both, what? What do you mean? You did what? He said, yeah, I called ICE. And then he said, F them.
You say things to incite people, right. Okay, and that's exactly what I did.
Rinaldi took to Facebook, writing he did call ICE and that Representative Pancho Narvaez threatened him. But it seems those threats went both ways.
There was a threat made from Representative Rinaldi to put a bullet in one of my colleagues' head.
All of this happening with members' spouses and children on the House floor.
There are enough of us here who remember a time in Texas where respect and decorum ruled the day. And we didn't disrespect each other. And if we disagreed, we came back together and said, we apologized, we acted like grown-ups, and said, let's move on.
The representatives did move on, adjourning for sine die on a lighter note. Speaker Joe Strauss saying serving as presiding officer is an honor.
It's a privilege, and as today has proven, it's never, ever boring. So I wish all the members and all of your families the very, very best until we meet again, which, like you, I hope will not be anytime soon.
And after a few announcements,
the House stands adjourned, sine die.
About an hour later, across the rotunda,
you did great work for the people of Texas.
Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick wraps up the Senate.
I would normally say I'll see you in 18 months, God willing, but we'll see you a little sooner than that.
A nod to the special session that is almost sure to happen. The Senate didn't vote on a sunset bill to keep a handful of state agencies operating. Action Patrick seemingly took to keep his promise of forcing a special session if the House didn't approve property tax and bathroom privacy bills. But Governor Greg Abbott, the only one with the authority to call a special session, also sent a message this sine die.
We will be, if we have a special session, convening only on the topics that I choose at the time of my choosing.
Governor Abbott says he will make an announcement about a special session later this week. At the Capitol, Ashley Godot, KVUE News Night Beat.
New tonight, Seton Hospital keeping a close eye on suspicious activity within its computer network. This after a threat was detected earlier today. Few details have been released, but Seton says there has been no issue with patient safety. Well, after a really dreary, rainy weekend, Albert, it was good to see the sun again.
It was, and it was because of those thunderstorms that we had about 24 hours ago that exhausted our atmosphere, made for a nice Memorial Day. Now, here on the radar, the only shower and thunderstorm popping up, extreme southern areas of Blanco County, extending into portions of Kendall County. The heaviest is out of the viewing area, but there's still some light to moderate rainfall right along Highway 281. We're going to keep it a 20% chance of a rogue shower here overnight. Because we're so humid and the wind will be light overnight, some patchy areas of fog will be possible by morning. Nothing too thick, and the fog will lift by 9 a.m. tomorrow. The rain chances, though, again, small tomorrow. They get better on Wednesday. They will peak on Thursday, and we even have some rain chances into the weekend. So about to head into that stormy weather pattern once again. We'll look at how much rain we could see over the next several days coming up.
Thanks, Albert. Uber and Lyft back on the road in Austin today, this coming more than a year after they lost a controversial vote to require fingerprint background checks for drivers. The Night Beat's Jason Puckett joins us now with what he learned about both companies after a little experiment. Jason?
Well, Quita, you know, one of the biggest points in the battle over fingerprint checks was getting drivers signed on. The city said they were being rushed through, not vetted enough. Uber and Lyft said their processes were thorough enough and that adding fingerprint checks would slow it down too much. Well, today, now that they're both back, we decided to put the process for both Uber and Lyft to the test. It's Memorial Day and I'm vacuuming my car. Well, why, you ask? It's got to be clean if I'm going to try and be an Uber or Lyft driver.
All right, so you open up the app.
We tried Uber first. They started by verifying my car.
I have a 2001 newer car with 4 doors.
And getting a lot of information. Driver's license, social security number, address, car insurance, and even
photo of your registration. They should really tell you this stuff, that they need this stuff in advance.
After a quick trip to the car,
boom. Done. Okay, what's next?
The driver's app says you're being processed and gives you an intro video.
Okay, so Uber in the process right now to see if we got confirmed. Let's try Lyft.
Lyft asked for the same information, requiring one more trip to the car, a nice profile pic.
Done. That's awful. We're using it.
And done. Towards the end of my car washing experience, just hours later, I got a text. Lyft telling me I was clear to drive. So I did.
I'm a little nervous, to be honest. So we're going to test this out with a coworker here at KVUE, actually my boss.
Our EP, Sarah, was gracious enough to be my test dummy.
Does that alarm you that this is my first time? It actually does. Actually, I'm going to buckle up here.
But my first ride was a success, and I earned a whopping $2.50. As of right now, Uber still hasn't approved me to be a driver. According to the app, it could take up to 48 hours or so for that to happen. And if you're watching this and wondering, is that safe? Should someone be able to pick up that app and drive within the same day? Well, both Uber and Lyft did send us their policies. They both say that they ran me and my car through both state, national, and local databases to check for any sort of criminal history whatsoever before that approval process. If you want to see those statements, make sure you check our website, KVUE.com. For now, though, live here in a car getting ready to potentially pick up some folks, I'm Jason Puckett, KVUE News, Night Beat.
Thank you, Jason. You can drive me home after the newscast. Well, this Memorial Day, a local service member marched across town hoping to send an important message.
The American veterans' suicide rate is much higher than the average American.
Captain Brian Hudson is a chaplain in the Texas National Guard. He works directly with veterans who have contemplated suicide. Today, he's walking 20 miles to raise awareness of the 20 estimated veterans who take their own lives every day. The load he's carrying on his back weighs 40 pounds, 20 in honor of those who died in combat, and 20 for those he says are still struggling.
They're hurting emotionally, physically, spiritually, all the above and together, and they begin to feel devalued, or they don't have value, and everyone has value.
Hudson says this is his 3rd year doing the walk. He has a GoFundMe page. Proceeds will go to charities that work directly with veteran suicide. You can find that page on our website, KVUE.com. And just a little while ago, an honor flight landed at Alston Bergstrom International from the nation's capital. We brought you their departure yesterday, and tonight the Night Beat's Brandon Jones was there for their big arrival. Brandon, so many hugs and tears as they arrived home tonight.
Yeah, it was, Quita. You know, this is a flight that many of these vets thought they would never see. Besides visiting Washington, D.C., they also got a chance to visit a memorial built in their honor. So tonight we want to show you one of the families that we met right now. This is Aurora Salazar. She showed up almost 3 hours early with her 2 grandsons to welcome home her husband, Jimmy. Now, Jimmy is a 70-year-old vet who served in the Vietnam War. This is his first honor flight. Our cameras captured that moment Jimmy met his family. This is truly an emotional day for them. Jimmy says that some of the best moments during the trip was seeing the Vietnam Veterans Wall and meeting President Trump. He also told me that he's glad his grandsons could witness this homecoming.
It's good to see all my family, but we always get together like this, you know, receive each other and good. in good times and in bad.
We just feel honored that my husband came back from Vietnam, but our whole heart, goes to the families of the ones that lost their lives in war. That's what Memorial, I feel, is about.
Now, this is Austin Honor Flight number 43, the third of this year. The next honor flight is the 4th of July weekend. We are live here at Austin Bergstrom. Brandon Jones, KVUE News, Night Beat.
As tubers prepare for summer fun, a rule of the river could soon change. The new Braunfels City Council gets ready to talk about a can ban and what it might mean for visitors. And helping veterans cope, how a gym gets them back into the swing of life at home after being in a war zone.